All right, so thank you everyone for joining me today for the Inspire Everyone to be a Trailblazer with Trailhead in a Box webinar. My name is Megan Peterson. I'm the Director of Trailhead Evangelism based out of Sydney, Australia. You can find me on Twitter at Megan P Tweets. Of course, the most exciting slide of today's webinar is the forward-looking statement slide. If I do make any forward-looking statements, please make all your purchasing decisions based on current features and functionality. And of course, if you've got questions, we've got the answers. So I will definitely do some live Q&A at the end of today's session for any questions you might have. So post your questions in the question window of the GoToWebinar control panel, or feel free to post them in the Trailblazer community on the Trailhead group there you see in that picture. That is 24/7, so you can always reach someone on Team Trailhead there, and there's a nice shrink link on the screen for you. And also we want you to get social with us at Trailhead. So we're at Trailhead on Twitter, #Trailhead, #BAM, be a multiplier. We're on Facebook /Salesforce Trailhead, and you can find all our amazing Trailhead blogs on medium.com/Trailhead. Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to go over a little bit about what Trailhead is, but we're going to jump into what is Trailhead in a box, what's in the box, and a quick success story and some next steps for all of you, and of course some Q&A like I mentioned at the end. So put those questions in. I will loop back at the end of today's webinar. So ultimately, Trailhead is the fun way to learn. We want you to learn in-demand skills with Trailhead online, whether that's business skills, tech skills, or soft skills. But we also want you to learn in the classroom with us with Trailhead Academy. And we want you to earn resume-worthy credentials. So we've got over 600 badges that are available on Trailhead today. So amazing, a huge amount of content that you can go and find and learn any moment of the day. And 41 credentials. So credentials are either our super badges or our certifications. And we want you to connect to opportunities. So whether that's from mentorship to employment, whether that's on the Trailblazer community, whether that's on the social channels that I've just mentioned, we want you to connect with your Salesforce, Ohana, and Trailblazer community. And Trailblazers are reaching new milestones. We are very, very proud of these statistics. We've just earned over 15 million badges on Trailhead globally, which is absolutely so exciting for us here on Team Trailhead to see that, you know, we love the content, we love Trailhead, and obviously you guys do too. So, so phenomenal to see. And over 1.5 million learners on Trailhead today. That's just so rewarding for the team. And also, we want you to grow your career with Trailhead. So 1 in 4 learners have found a new job with Trailhead, and also 25% of learners got a raise or a promotion with Trailhead. So that's really a great incentive to get online and learn with Trailhead. Another piece that we'll be talking about today is bringing Trailhead into your company. So learning actually helps increase productivity and happiness at work. So it makes you 39% more productive, 47% less stressed, and 21% happier, which is all good things that we'd love to get out of work every single day. However, 90% of companies actually lack that culture of learning. So we're seeing 80% lower feature adoption, 64% greater employee turnover, and 60% greater time to proficiency, which isn't great. So how can we bring that culture of learning into our organizations? So this is a great segue to start talking about what is Trailhead in a box. So ultimately, Trailhead in a box is a trail mix that we've put together for you. I've been on Team Trailhead now for about 2.5 years, and I've been really lucky to go and spend some time with our customers where we go and bring Trailhead into their organizations and have a lot of fun learning on Trailhead. However, I'm only a single person, so we needed a way to scale that message, the ability to do that, and that's why Trailhead in a Box has come to fruition. We want anyone to be able to talk about Trailhead, whether that's in their own company or whether that's in their community. So we'll dig into what is Trailhead in a Box a little bit more in a second. But first, I want to tell you how you can find Trailhead in a Box. So we've got a nice little shrink link down the bottom of the slide here. You can also find it on our BAM page, so trailhead.com/BAM. So I mentioned BAM earlier, the hashtag BAM. So this is Be a Multiplier. If you've ever heard our amazing Trailhead evangelist Leah McGowan-Hare talk about BAM, she created this movement where anyone can be a multiplier with Trailhead. And there's amazing sessions that you can run around BAM, and Trailhead in a Box is one of those. So you can find it on our BAM website. If you go to the Trailhead in a Box tile, and it will take you to the Trailmix. You can also just log into Trailhead and navigate to the Trailmixes page and discover Trailmixes, and it's one of the featured Trailmixes there. You could also just search Trailhead in a Box on Trailhead, and you can find the Trailmix there as well. So what is in the box? Tell us. So first, there's a Drive Trailhead Engagement Playbook, and this is like a best practice for bringing it to your company if that's how you're going to leverage Trailhead in a Box. There's also a Trailhead in a Box Enablement Pack. So this is going to give you all the resources you need to bring Trailhead into your organization. If you had to go and create a PowerPoint deck around Trailhead out from scratch, I'd say it would be difficult to do that without the resources from us. So we've tried to make it really, really easy and take any of the work out of bringing Trailhead to your community or your company by putting all these resources in the enablement pack for you. We also show you how to demo Trailhead, which I'll go into a little bit. We have marketing assets for you as well. So making sure you've got some creative, some banners, anything you need to send emails and make it look fun and Trailhead. There's also a link to the Trailhead store in the Trailhead in a Box Trailmix. It always helps if there's a swag incentive, so prizes that you might want to give to people along the way. And there's also some great Trailhead content, so modules around Trailhead for Companies, which is a new badge on Trailhead. The public speaking skills, if you're going to talk about Trailhead to anybody, it's always good if you've had some public speaking skills practice. And also the Trailhead Basics badge in there as well, and the Trailhead Workshop Basics as well. So ultimately, who is Trailhead in a Box for? I get asked this question, is this for the end users, or is it for me, or is it for employees of Salesforce? So ultimately, this is for anyone that's passionate about Trailhead. We hear the stories all the time that people are in a taxi or an Uber, and they're talking with their driver, and that driver's looking for a new opportunity or wants to learn new skills, and all of a sudden you're sending them to trailhead.com. So if you're a passionate Trailblazer that's pointed someone to Trailhead, or you just want to tell your family over dinner around what Trailhead is and get them learning new skills, then Trailhead in a Box is going to enable you to have that conversation. Maybe within your organization, you're the training or the enablement leader. Maybe you're the Salesforce admin for your company. I've also seen this driven by project managers or change managers. Obviously, our amazing Trailblazer community leaders bringing this into their Trailblazer community groups. And the list goes on. But this is for anyone that wants to tell another person or audience about Trailhead. So how do you drive engagement with Trailhead in a Box? So here's a few ways that we can see you leveraging the materials that are part of this Trailmix. So first and foremost, running a Trailhead challenge. So you could run a competition around Trailhead, whether this is with a group in your community or whether this is in your company. This is a great way to really embed people's learning on Trailhead. I find that if you send someone a single module, or if you send them a Trailmix on Trailhead, some people get really excited and get into it. Other people will kind of look and never go back again. Some people won't even click the link. So what we find about running it like a challenge over, say, a 6-week period is that you get that momentum. You get everyone kind of having fun around it, focused on it from a start to end date, and it really drives the adoption of Trailhead through the organization. Maybe you want to leverage this around your new hire onboarding or member onboarding to a group in your community. So this is a good way for you to scale. If you have to train people all the time, you can use trail mixes that you put together and the materials in Trailhead in a Box to educate people on Trailhead and use it for that repeated onboarding process that you might go through. You might think about doing it for a role, level, or subject matter, like creating trail mixes around those different initiatives for whoever you're trying to inspire. A great time to do it is around key company initiatives or launches. If you're going to have a big platform where everyone comes together, it's a great time to tell everyone about Trailhead all at once. Think about different company and community events. We've got these amazing community events that run all around the world. Or if your company is having a special launch day around something, it's a great time to promote it. Think about bringing Trailhead, if you're doing this in your company, for example, think about it from a promotion criteria standpoint. That's how we use it at Salesforce. So people that are learning on Trailhead, there's a lot of management kind of materials on there. So really building it into how you might use that for promotion criteria at your organization. Soft skilling up, I mentioned before, it's not just Salesforce or business and tech skills. There's some soft skills on Trailhead as well. Or maybe just a pure rank challenge, make it to that next rank. So there's some suggestions around different ways you can leverage Trailhead on a box. But let's take a deeper look inside the box. So that first Drive Trailhead Engagement Playbook. So this is best practices to help inspire a culture of learning at your organization. So the first step here is identify your audience. So who is this going to be for? It might be for, like I mentioned before, onboarding of new people. Maybe you've had Salesforce for a while and it's time to do kind of a refresher training. So maybe you want to do it with some people that have been leveraging Salesforce for a while. Maybe you're relaunching Salesforce and it's a great opportunity to retrain people. So identify who you want to run this with. And then you need to define the details of that Trailhead challenge. So I mentioned before, doing it, say, as a 6-week challenge is a really good way to do it. Define a start time, define an end time, really focus everyone's excitement and learning, kind of kick it off with a bang, get everyone together, have some fun around it. Order some cupcakes with Astro and Cody's faces on it, whatever might inspire people at your business to get excited about a Trailhead challenge. So make sure you know what the details of that look like. So what's to take time out of what you're doing already to run a challenge, make sure it's going to provide that value back to the business. And speaking of which, we do need to get the business on board. So if you have to ask your manager for permission to do this, we've included in Trailhead in a Box, there's actually an email template for you to send to a manager to kind of pitch what this would look like. Or maybe you want to actually set up a face-to-face meeting and walk them through it. Part of that is also going to be to create the perfect trail mix. Now, for anyone that doesn't know what a trail mix is, this is kind of a Spotify playlist of Trailhead content. So you can mix and match what you want to share with your end users. And I've written a great blog around this. If you think if you think this might sound like a challenge, there's a blog out there on how to create the perfect trail mix. So thinking again about who that audience is, the level of learning, what products you might be trying to educate them on, and the timelines. If you're running a 6-week program and you want them to do maybe an hour or 2 every week, making sure that the timing of that trail mix matches what you are expecting them to learn in that period. Also, install Trail Tracker. I'll talk about that in a moment in more detail, but this is a free app on the App Exchange that will allow you to track what people are doing on Trailhead within your own instance of Salesforce. But at the end of the day, bring the fun. That's what Trailhead is all about. It's learning the fun way. So make it fun for your users. Let them have fun on the job, learning with Trailhead, and inspire them that this is a tool that they can leverage throughout their careers. So I mentioned before you'd have to create that ultimate trail mix. So I just have a few best practices around this because this is something that a lot of people come to me for help with when they're creating the trail mixes for their end users. So I always say start with that Learn Salesforce with Trailhead Trail, because it ultimately teaches people how to use Trailhead. So if people haven't used it before, that's a really good starting point to teach them the basics around Trailhead. Again, who is this content for? Do you want to create one trail mix for everybody that you want to inspire? Or do you want to make it really targeted? Is some for admins? Is some for your developers? Is some for your end users? Are there people that are more advanced in their learning and some that are more beginner? So you can really create and tailor those trail mixes for whoever is going to partake. I would also include some non-product content to mix it up. I've heard the statistic that if you always go off and do something that you're really good at when you're struggling with something else and then come back to the thing you were struggling with, it can really help you overcome that and achieve what you were trying to do if you've kind of mastered something that you're good at first. So doing some non-product content in there to mix it up as well, and to have a bit of fun with the learning is always a good idea. Include hands-on challenges. So for those that have leveraged Trailhead in the past, you'll know that at the end of a unit, you either have a multiple choice quiz or you have a hands-on challenge. And those hands-on challenges where you open up your free playground on Trailhead and you get hands-on within the instance of Salesforce, that's the secret sauce of Trailhead. So I would really encourage you to include a few hands-on challenges in your trail mixes for your Trailblazers. And then tailor to those must-learn topics. So there's some great filters when you do searches on Trailhead, whether that be around roles, whether it be around learning levels, whether it be around the products or different tags. You can really tailor that to your audience. And I mentioned before Trail Tracker. So you can install this for free from the App Exchange. There's a link on your screen, or you can just search Trail Tracker in any browser. So little tip here, if you are going to install Trail Tracker, you do need people logging into Trailhead with their Salesforce login. So that's ultimately how it knows someone from your instance of Salesforce is using Trailhead. So just making sure that your users understand that they need to tie a Salesforce login to their account. Then configure your dashboard. So a prepackaged dashboard is going to come in with Trail Tracker and reports as well. So you just need to tweak that however you want to see the data. You can also assign content to users with Trail Tracker. So you can actually say, I want you to do this trail. I want you to do this module. I want you to do this trail mix by these dates. So when you actually log into the homepage of Trailhead, you can see there little due dates around when people want to do their content. You can also not put a due date if you don't want to have that kind of stick approach to people's learning as well. And also you can share snapshots in a chatter group or via email. So those dashboards, you can actually say, hey, look, you know, Sarah's leading the charge. Here she goes. Who's going to catch her? Or even calling out the people that haven't even done any badges yet. That's a good way to kind of motivate and keep that momentum up throughout that learning period. All right, so I mentioned there's also an enablement pack. So in that enablement pack, you'll find a Trailhead presentation if you want to do this at your company, and another Trailhead presentation if you want to do this with someone in the community. So this you can use the one for the company either to pitch to your business in the first place, or use it to launch your competition or your onboarding experience, or make sure that whoever you're speaking to around doing Trailhead understands the kind of who, what, when, why, where of Trailhead. And then that one for people in the community, we want to inspire future Trailblazers to learn with Trailhead. So someone that you think, gosh, I just think they'd get so much value out of Trailhead. You know, my brother's looking for a job at the moment, and I sent him the one around writing his resume at the moment on Trailhead. So I think Trailhead can inspire anyone out there in the community. So we have a presentation for either audience. There's also a sample meeting agenda. You know, not everyone has put together a presentation before, so we wanted to take that work out of it for you. So how we would see over the space of, say, an hour, how you would break up the time in that presentation. And there's also an event checklist there. So whether you're going to do this as an in-person delivery or a virtual delivery there. There's also some materials in the box around how to demo Trailhead. So I know that might sound fairly straightforward, especially if you've done a lot of Trailhead. However, if you haven't had to demo something in front of others before, there's just a few skills to doing it. So we've included in the box a recording of the perfect demo of how to demo Trailhead, also a click path and a script. So if you've ever been to a Salesforce event and you visited a booth of anyone around a product, for example, we have already given those people some kind of pre-learning. So it teaches them what people might ask them and what they should demo and what they should talk about if someone comes and talks to them. So we've included that for you in Trailhead in a box. So some tips here on running the perfect demo. turn off notifications right now. If somebody started messaging me and they were popping up on the screen, it would be probably very distracting. So turn off any notifications. Check your internet. Make sure that there's no filters there with your internet connections. Preload tabs. Sometimes if your internet's slow, if you have to wait for something to load, it can be slower. So if you preload what you're going to click on and have those tabs already open, it just makes it a streamlined experience for the people watching. And then think about telling the story. So who are you logging in? What have you come to learn? If you wrap a story around a demo, it makes it a whole lot more compelling for the people listening. So I said before that I'd talk about a bit of a success story, and really Salesforce is one of the biggest success stories when it comes to leveraging Trailhead within the organization. So we see here Dan Darcy, who runs enablement for Salesforce. He's come on board and just leveraged Trailhead in every way, shape, and form. So we have over 8,000 employees onboarded per year. So that's a pretty big task. So how do you scale that onboarding experience? So we do that with Trailhead. And that's allowed us a 30-day faster ramp up. And we've also just achieved recently over 10,000 employees at Salesforce are actually Ranger. So we have a whole program around trying to get people to reach Ranger status because we think it's really important for employees of Salesforce to understand that value of Trailhead and then obviously tell our customers as well. So we've had a lot of fun learning with Trailhead, using that for onboarding, using that for product knowledge, using that to scale around our values and our messaging as well. So we're one of the biggest success stories about how it's worked really, really well, bringing it into an organization. And then the next stop for anyone doing this within a company would be My Trailhead. So for those that don't know what My Trailhead is Trailhead, but where you can actually add your own brand and content. So this would allow you to actually personalize that onboarding experience. So Trailhead has an amazing amount of content and definitely has something for everybody around a baseline learning. But often people say, you know, we've customized Salesforce, really customized it for our business. So how can we educate people in the way Trailhead does on our system? So that's what My Trailhead can let you do. You can really personalize the content around how you use Salesforce. It will allow you to supercharge productivity, cultivate company culture just like we have here at Salesforce, and create those integrated learning journeys. So like I said before, we've got an amazing amount of base level content on Trailhead that you should definitely leverage. We literally update that content on a week-to-week basis, so you can trust that the content is up to date and giving you the latest messaging and the latest product knowledge and advice. But then integrating it with anything that you think is important to scale learning-wise at your company. So it doesn't even have to be around Salesforce. Your company culture, your company values, your HR processes, whatever it might be, Trailhead is then the next logical step after introducing your company to Trailhead. All right, so let's wrap this box up in a bow. So some best practices for Trailhead in a box. So standardize on Trailhead logins, so meaning using your Salesforce logins so that you can install Trail Tracker for reporting purposes. Start at the top, get some executive adoption. So if you're bringing this into your company, for example, an executive sponsor is going to really help drive adoption and make sure that everyone's on board. Go big, announce it on a big stage, get some momentum, get some excitement. Make it personal, so customize with trail mixes, thinking about your audience, and then motivate and incentivize with swag. You'd be surprised what people will do for a sticker or a hoodie. All right, so here is the link to Trailhead in a Box, the trail mix that we've mentioned today. I am going to now pause. I think I've got 5 minutes left and see these few questions that I've got coming up. The first one, how can we engage people in our nonprofit organization who do lots of work but don't use Salesforce, but lots of emails and phone calls? So I actually spoke at an event a few weeks ago and I got this same question. If if people in a not-for-profit have to touch Salesforce, then they have to be trained on Salesforce. I understand that in a not-for-profit environment, it's very busy. They're doing it often out of the goodness of their heart and not getting paid for it. So expecting them to go above and beyond when it comes to learning is sometimes a big ask. However, if they are coming in out of the goodness of their heart to do work for an organization, they will need to learn how to use those tools. So leveraging something like Trailhead, we've got amazing not-for-profit content on there to teach them how to just simply navigate, find what they need to kind of log in Salesforce. And hopefully they'll have fun. You know, Trailhead's been written in the most fun, concise, retainable way. So it should be the quickest path to them learning what they need to do on a basic level. So I hope that answers your question. And who knows, maybe it's something that they fall in love with and learn new skills, and it leads to an opportunity for them to get an amazing full-time job somewhere if that's what they wish to do. All right, another question. How much will it cost for partners? We're an ISV partner. Our team is growing faster. We hire college students as trainees, so I guess this should be good for us. So the cost of Trailhead is nothing because Trailhead is free. And in terms of my Trailhead, I would definitely encourage you to reach out to your account executive to talk about the pricing of my Trailhead, if that's what the question was around costing. All right, I don't see any other questions, but now is your moment to ask them if you have them. I'm going to repost there. And I hope you've liked today's session. I hope you've learned something new. I hope you've been inspired to leverage Trailhead in a box to tell somebody else about Trailhead and have fun. And we will record today's session and share it. So if there's someone that you think should have listened to today's session, we will be posting that recording shortly as well. All right, I'll hold on a few moments, but for those that have been with us today, thank you so much for joining us. If you do want to drop off the call, I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever in the world you have joined us from, and I look forward to talking to you on another webinar in the future. Thank you.